Hello, everyone. It looks like I'm by myself today, which is a shame, but I am going to do it anyway because it will be nice for anyone who is interested to be able to see to be able to see this training in the future. So what I'm going to do is I am going to introduce myself, and after that, I will have a look at the Shatter guide that anyone in this group will have downloaded, and that's how you came across me. And it will be nice to actually uh, um, be able to help you to actually understand a bit more about what the tools are that are in the guide and how you can um, help yourself using them. So, hello, I am Malou Hilhorst and I am an empowerment life coach. I'm also the host of the Facebook group Shatter, the Never Good Enough Feelings for Working Mums. And I have also got a Facebook page that some of you might know me from, which is Malou Hilhorst Coaching. Um, I am I'm an advocate for working women who are absolutely amazing, but because of all the things that come across them and come their way, they are just exhausted and stressed, and all of that is caused by the underlying feelings of never being good enough. So I um I have this utter respect, this uttermost respect for these ladies because they work hard. They work hard. They do anything in their power to be able to keep afloat, to be able to survive the daily life. And it is it's not easy, let's be honest. It's really hard work. And if you're a mom as well, it's just an extra job. It's an extra 24/7 job that you'll have to cope with and that you'll have to show up for because no one else is going to do it. So, um, to start with, why I am an empowerment life coach and why I am an advocate for these amazing ladies is because I have had a nervous breakdown and a burnout 10 years ago. I was one of you. I am still one of you, but I felt the same as you are feeling right now. Um, and that made me that I always try to be on top of everything that needed doing. I never sat down, I never took a break. I always kept myself busy because if I didn't, the not feeling good enough or the resentment towards people around me or things that I still had to do or things that I had dedicated myself to do or that I had promised other people to do, expectations that I had to live up to, all these things were just getting on top of me, and I wasn't able to cope with them anymore. The moment that I was diagnosed with the pre-stage of cervix cancer. So I ended up treatment. It was all very treatable, so it was not something that um was life-threatening, but in my head it was. And the doom thinking and the in my head I was dying. I was losing my hair because of chemo treatment, which was absolutely not part of what was going on, but because I couldn't process the actual reality anymore, and everything just came on top of me. It was just really, really hard to keep 2 feet on the floor and to be thinking, okay, look, what's going on? What does that mean? And what's that gonna look like in the near future? So because of all that stress that I got into my head, and because of all of that stress that I tried to cope with the news that I wasn't doing too well, and I needed treatment, it just basically tipped me over the edge, and I tumbled into a nervous breakdown, which was really severe. And it was followed by a nearly 2 year long burnout. And during that burnout, the first year I couldn't work. I couldn't take care of my child. I couldn't be um, present in my family because I was not able to cope with all the noises. I was not able to cope with all the demands. I was not able to cope with even making a simple sandwich or having my son or helping my 2.5 years old son to put his shoes and coat on to go to the guest parent or the childline. I was seriously not able to do that anymore. So that's the reason why I chose that I want to give back. I want to give back what I've learned over that period of time, that I was able and that I was enabled to go into therapy to sort myself out. But it was really hard, and it was a long road. So I think it could be done a lot quicker, and it could be done before someone tumbles over the edge. And that's why I'm here. So the big reason for me is to give back and to help you not go into that nervous breakdown or not go into that burnout, but basically nip those unworthy feelings and feeling lost as a person, not knowing who you are anymore. Basically, nip them in the butt, so to speak, and learn different things, different tools, and different mechanisms, but also learn where these, so ingrained feelings of feeling not good enough, where they come from, and how 9 times out of 10, or even 99 times out of 100, how these ingrained feelings are conditioned since your upbringing. And that is basically um, what the guide, bringing the guide into this training, that's basically what the guide is about. We basically look at where do these feelings come from, you know, in which situations do you feel not good enough? Is there certain specific situations with certain people in certain you know gatherings with people, or simple things? Are they more present in these situations than in others? Do you feel more certain and more secure about yourself in some situations, but then in other situations you find it really hard to stand up for yourself and to put out boundaries and to basically put yourself first? So to look at the guide, we basically will have a look at all these things. And it would have been really, really nice if I had some people join me today, because I wanted to make this an interactive training. So, you know, for people also to see how I would work with clients and how I would help my clients get the light bulb moments, create those aha moments. I never thought of it this way, or oh my God, I've seriously, I've realized something now that it's going to change everything, which I do. I see that happen every day, and that makes me want to do this job. So um, never mind, we're going to do this anyway. So I'm going to share my screen with the guide in the screen so we can go through it together, and you can basically think about the things, and also the questions that I will highlight or ask extra that aren't in the guide will help you to answer the questions that are in the guide. So it sounds a bit funny, but I'm hoping that with my extra input in this training, you will be able to go a bit deeper into the answering the questions and to find out where these not good enough feelings come from, and how for you this conditioning, it's called childhood conditioning, but this conditioning that's been done during your childhood, of what's good and bad, or what's right and wrong, how that affects your daily life now, so that you can basically become more aware of that, and maybe hopefully even sort of change things, or use tools that are in the guide so you can lighten the load a little bit more, and feel more worthy of what you want and what you find important and what you value. So let's do this. Let me share my screen and let me go through this guide with you guys. I will have my advanced share. Now I would like to share that screen. Why don't I put it? I can't put it down there. Okay, so let me just shuffle things around a little bit. And I'm hoping that you can see what I see now. And that is basically the guide there. All right, so if we look at this, we basically, this is the front page of the guide. I'm hoping that you've got the email. If you haven't got the email, please reach out because I can resend it to you. This is a working mum's guide to shatter not good enough feelings, and it is from feeling lost as a person to embracing your worth and creating a life you love. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Which I'm aware is absolutely not the case, but that's what I'm here for, and I'm more than happy to help and to coach you through this, so you can shed a bit more light on what's going on. So again, I'm Malou Hilhurst. I am an empowerment life coach, a mum of two, a single mum of two, I should say. I work full time. I'm doing this. I'm building this business on top of that. So I'm at the moment working two jobs, and hoping that I can do this in the future full time and help so many more other women to get to the point where I've come to, and to actually be able to embrace myself, to live the life that I want for me and for my children, and for my loved ones. And if I can be of any help in that for you, then my goal is reached, basically. So a little bit of background information I've already given, so I'm not going to go into the introduction and how you can best use this guide. I'll let you read that. But if you're not yet in the Shattered and Never Good Enough Feelings for Working Mums Facebook group, please join. There's a link in this document that you can click, and it will basically redirect you to the Facebook group straight away. So happy to have you. There will be more trainings in there in the near future. And people, I've created that community to basically have people be able to come together, to discuss things together, to if you've had a bad day or a bad week, or if you've got a bad time, that you can share that. But equally, if you are having wins, or experiencing wins in your life and in your well-being and in what you want to do for you, that you can share them as well, to basically encourage other people in the group to keep going, because life doesn't have to be this hard. It doesn't. It really doesn't. I never thought I would be able to say that, but I am. And life is absolutely amazing, but I do also understand that when you're in this horrible area or situation where you feel that you're absolutely not good enough all of the time, and that you're failing at life, and that you're it's just a waste of space, basically. That's how I felt. It is really hard not knowing where to start, to actually get out from there and to move on, and to finally have a new way of living stick, because all the new new habits and the life hacks of whatever it is that you've looked for them, like working mums on Pinterest or whatever, what could what could immediately make your life better if you would implement this perfect tool? Why these things don't stick? These things do not stick, and my experience is that because you can try whatever you like to try. You can try how much you'd like to try with new things, implementing them. But if it's a bit like you've got a wound on your arm and you stick a band-aid on it and you hope that it will go away, but it gets infected and it might go away or it might get a bit better, but it's still going to be there after you take the band-aid off. If Because something is basically causing that there is an infection there. So what I try to explain to my clients and to my the people that I work with, or the people that are interested in how I work or come across me, is that if you do not do anything about the root cause of the actual wound on your arm, so what's causing the infection, if you don't do anything about that, or if you don't look at that first, you can stick as many band-aids on the wound, but it's not going to go away. And the same goes for the not good enough feelings. You can implement any hack, you can implement any new habit, you can try any new thing that you think might help, and it might help for a little bit, but you will have noticed that whenever something happens, it brings you back to square one because old habits take over again, and the not good enough feelings are still there. It's not like that new hack has made them go away. They're still there. So something is basically there that's causing what that you're not feeling good enough. And what I would like for you to be able to do is to find out what's causing them so that you can understand where they come from. And from that point onwards, you can actually try and navigate yourself and learn new things that are sustainable and that are not just band-aids sticking on the wound, but that are actually helpful for you to change things for good and to implement new habits with an intention behind it to shatter the not good enough feelings from the root, which makes you more sustainable for a win. Because in the end, if you go to the root cause and you take that out of the way, or you basically make sure that you understand what's going on, where it's coming from, it will help you explain to yourself or recognize as well why you feel like that in certain interactions or in certain situations. And from that moment on, you can actually look at, okay, what do I find difficult and why do I do it? And is it helpful or not? And what could I try differently, or what do I need to do differently to basically get a different outcome? I wish I could say, I really honestly wish I could say that things are going to be better tomorrow. When you have read this guide, everything's going to go away and it's all going to be better. But I'm afraid that I can't give you that promise. I can't make that promise because this is not just, oh, I'll sleep over the night and it will be gone. It unfortunately it's not going to be like that. You will need to work on this, and it will take time and energy and perseverance and dedication to actually come out of this. But I want to reassure you that it is possible, and I am absolutely convinced that there is a way out. You just need that extra hand of help, that extra, you know, encouragement, empowerment to and the right guidance and the right guide of what you need to do for you to be able to make the changes that you want to make, or to establish the changes that you want for yourself. So, but no, let's have a look at this guide. If you have any questions, please let me know. Anytime, anytime. I will upload this video in the guide section of in the guide section of the Shatter Facebook group. So if you are interested in how you can use this guide best, watch the video and ask the questions in the comments. If that's not a possibility, I'm not sure if that is a possibility, please write them down, message me. I'll make sure that I will have my information of how you can get in touch with me perfectly clear out there. So whenever you've got a question, when you're going through this video or when you go through the guide and you get stuck on anything that you think about, or you're not sure what to do or how to go forward, please reach out, because I'm here. I'm absolutely willing to make things better with you and for you, and I'm rooting for you. So please get in touch if you have any questions. So to look at the guide, we have a content page in the guide, which basically shows you what the different subjects are that are in the guide. So from one step to the next There's also a medical disclaimer, which I'm going to go through now. So we're all on the same page. Now, this information provided in this document and in this training is designated to provide helpful information on the subjects discussed. And this document is not meant to be used, nor should it be used, to diagnose or treat any medical conditions. So for diagnosis or treatment of any medical problem, consult your own physician or general practitioner. I'm the publisher and author, and I am not taking responsibility. I am not responsible for any specific health needs that may require medical supervision, and I am not liable for any damages or negative consequences from any treatment, action, application, or preparation to any person reading or following the information in this document. The references that I provide for information are for informational purposes only and do not constitute endorsement of any websites or any other sources. Now, with that said, I would like to go back up and have a look at the first page of the guide, and it says identify when you feel not good enough. If I look back at my situation, when I did not feel good enough, it was basically in certain interactions, in certain places, in certain conversations, but also about certain subjects. It was just all these different things, and it didn't occur all the time. It was just present in these specific situations. So what I would like you to do here and now is to have a look and read through this with me, and I will explain a little bit more about it while I'm going on. And maybe get a notepad or a document open on your computer while you're watching this, so you can basically make notes or answer the questions that are in this guide, especially if I'm asking these extra questions that will make you think a bit deeper about certain things. So please take this opportunity to make this as useful as possible for you. So let's do this. All right. So when you identify when you feel not good enough, I'm talking about, okay, what are the specific situations? What are the specific interactions that you have with certain people? Is it with certain roles? So if you have interactions, or if you have to deal with like authority figures or anything, is there any specific situation that you feel not good enough? And is there certain situations that highlight more of these feelings. Now, if you enable yourself to basically identify and recognize when you feel not good enough, it will be that important step towards emotional well-being and personal growth. It will highlight the areas that may need more attention and healing, or it will highlight the areas where there might be some trauma, or conditions, things that you've been conditioned with, so that you've learned that you've never realized before. Maybe these things are there, and for you to identify when these things happen will enable you to recognize what happens and why it happens. But you will be able to basically go back to the root cause because of this, and go from there. So that's why this is the first step that I'm making you do. If you want to follow this guide, the first step is to basically identify in which situations you feel not good enough. So feeling not good enough is basically very low self-worth. You know, you don't feel good enough, you feel unworthy of having what you want, you think that you're not worthy of having what you want, that anything you do is wrong, or you don't deserve it. So by doing this is basically the first step towards reclaiming the worthiness that you lost along the way, or that you don't know what it feels like to have. So let's go into the situations, because if we do this, we will be able to look at the bigger picture. Like, okay, where is it from? When does it happen? And what's behind it? And how does it keep happening, basically? Now, if you would describe, I'm just making you, I'm just having you have a think now. If you would describe the situations and the interactions that you have regularly in which you don't feel good enough, I would like you to think about which interactions or situations those are at your workplace. So is there certain situations at your workplace that you feel undervalued, or you feel that people aren't taking you serious, or that you feel that people are maybe even unkind, or being very down talking, like you're doing it wrong, or they're better than you, or anything like that? Is there anything that you encounter at work, any situation, or any trait of people's personalities that you encounter there that constantly give you the feeling that you are not good enough? I want you to think about that for a second, and basically just jot down, if that works for you, jot down what if you can come up with some situations that you, even if you look at the last week or the last 2 weeks, have there been situations at work that you felt that you didn't do it good enough, or that you had done it wrong, or that you weren't worthy of being there? Like, have you felt those feelings in any situation at work? Now, if you've written down that, you can pause this video if you like. Obviously, that's a possibility when it's a recording. So if you continue to the next area in your life to identify when you don't feel good enough. My phone's just gone off. My God, that's not supposed to happen. I apologize. If you look at your home situation, for example, when us lovely working moms, or us lovely working women, try to juggle the different roles that we have. So we try to juggle the children, we try to be the best mom, we try to be the best grandma even. We try to be the best wife. We try to be the best girlfriend, partner, anything. If you look at the home situation, can you identify in which situations or with which responsibilities or juggling the different things that need doing? What are the feelings that come across when you think about that? Do you feel that you're doing a good job? Do you feel that you're failing? Do you feel that you're uh could do better, and that you're doing it, but it's never good enough, that it never feels finished? Do you feel that um there might be other people that have it together a lot better than you? Have you got the feeling that it's all for nothing because you basically mop the floor and the next moment no one cares and just dirts the floor again, and you can start over all again? All these situations that you feel absolute well, it's basically situations that you might feel absolutely useless. And the home situation, let's be honest, we feel a massive responsibility for everything and everyone around us. Um, so if you think about going back to it, if you think about at home, is there any certain specific situations or interactions or responsibilities or jobs that you feel that you need to do, that those not good enough feelings are often popping up or uh, overwhelming you, even though you try your hardest and you're busy as absolutely nothing else in the world? What is it that pops up in your head? Is there anything at home that makes you feel not good enough, that makes you feel unworthy of being the mum, unworthy of being the grandma, unworthy of being the lady or the woman in the house that takes care of the household? Now, again, you can pause this video and just jot some things down, and maybe you've already done that while I was tattling away. I'm good at that. Especially when I'm by myself, I can just go on and on. All right, so let's look at the third thing. It's with certain people. Have you got certain interactions? And I know I've said this a couple of times before. Can you think of certain interactions that you've got with people in which you feel unworthy, in which you feel that it's never good enough, in which you feel that there's always these expectations that you can't live up to, that there's always these demands and these things that are unsaid, but you feel that they're there. And if you don't speak about them, or if you don't shout them out, they're going to be under the surface, and they're just going to, kind of smother, or kind of building up a fire that's gonna, go big in a while. Is there any situations or interactions that you can think of with certain people that make you feel unworthy, that make you feel like you're doing it wrong, that make you feel like you're not doing it good enough? It always has to be perfect, and perfect is not even good enough. Is there any certain people that trigger those feelings or insecurities? And this one is quite, I'd say, quite a hard one to look at, because obviously often, well, in my situation, if I talk about my situation, I always felt not good enough in the interaction with my parents, and um that was part of the upbringing and the conditioning that I've learned during the upbringing. So it's however you want to look at it, this certain people that trigger those not good enough feelings within you. It's quite harsh to look at that, but I do think that it's one of the important ones to, we don't need to go into it deep, but it'd be good to recognize and to identify that these are the situations that you find really hard because they make you feel so worthless and um not good enough, and it makes you feel lost. Right. So going to the next one, is there any situations that you can identify with authority figures that can make you feel inadequate, maybe stem back from the past, like a certain teacher that did that, or a certain family member, or a certain friend, um, or a parent figure? I don't know. Is there any authority figures in your life now that you might have difficulty with in the interaction because those not good enough feelings are always popping up as soon as you have to or are in an interaction with those people? I would like you to have a bit of a think about that. It could be a boss, it could be a manager, it could be I don't know, a director of a company that you have to deal with. It could be a very intimidating person that on a daily basis you have to, you know, interact with, that gives you the creeps or gives you well, gives you the feelings that it's not good enough, it's not funny, but it is. We need to make this a bit lighter than what it actually is, because if we stay in this for too long, it's gonna, it's gonna make you angry and it's gonna make you resentful, and we don't want that. So that's why we identify first. First step, identify. We're gonna go to the next one. And with that, we can have a look at the roots of the unworthy feelings. So, understanding where the feelings come from, understanding where the feelings of unworthiness come from, is absolutely important for your personal growth and for your emotional well-being. Because when you understand and when you realize what's causing these unworthy feelings, it will be, you know, you will understand your own story better, but also the story that you tell today. So the reason why you do things. So maybe, in your upbringing, maybe there were certain experiences in your upbringing with authority figures or with parents or with grandparents or with the siblings, that repeatedly made you feel that you weren't good enough or that you were unworthy of what you did. That could still have their effect today. So if you think about, I went, for example, I was the eldest of three girls, and I found it really hard to understand interactions between people, and I've only realized that a couple of years ago that that is something that I struggled with when I was young. But at the same time, I never got things explained. So I was told that I did it wrong, or I was told that I had to act nicer, or I was told that I should not be selfish. But I wasn't explained why they said that to me. So I was conditioned that I had to be there for other people, and I had to do what other people were asking me to do. I had to live up to expectations, because especially from the elderly or from, family members or parents or grandparents, because they were elder, they were older than me, they knew better, and I had to listen. So these conditions, even though it seems so logical when you talk about it this way, these conditions have actually set the tone for your life now. So if I'm just thinking about what, I was always told that I had to listen. I was not allowed to give my opinion. I had to listen to what other people said, especially my grandparents or my parents. Um, and if I didn't listen and I shared my opinion, it was basically not listened to. So I felt not listened to. I felt not worthy enough of being listened to. So I had the feeling that whatever I thought or whatever I felt, I was not allowed to say. So I was not allowed to show any emotions because that was just the rule that I was brought up with. It didn't matter, or that's how I felt like it didn't matter. And obviously, that's I understand now that that is the way that my parents were brought up. So they did the same. But I'm also realizing how that made me feel. I was not being listened to. And up till this day, if I'm not being listened to, I can let it go a lot better now. But if I'm not listened to, and it's a very important subject for me, I get triggered. And I know that that is a trigger for me. So um, explore the roots of your unworthy feelings. When I get triggered, I know that that comes from somewhere. Um, it could be a trauma. So, have past traumas contributed to lingering feelings of unworthiness? Or could they affect your identity, your sense of identity? Um, I don't know. Again, traumatic experience with maybe an accident that you've been in, or a bad situation with bad people, with people that you really do not want to interact with, or things have been said to you, or you had to do something that you didn't want to do, but you you did it anyway because there was no choice. There was absolutely no way that you could choose not to do it. Now, is there specific events in your life that have made you feel not good enough, have made you feel unworthy? Um, have you been, you know, announced or pronounced as a failure? Have you been made, have someone made you feel that you weren't good enough? Someone made you feel that you were a failure, that you absolutely were useless? Have you been rejected for certain things that you really, really wanted, that have really set you back? And that have basically really badly, in a bad way, impacted your self-esteem? Have there been any of them specific events in your life that have contributed to those not good enough feelings? So I want you to really think about, okay, what was my upbringing like? What were my parents like? What were the authority figures in my life like? Were they empathetic? Um, Were they quite selfish? Were they quite insecure themselves, maybe? But by projecting that on other people, try to make sense of things. But were you a victim of that? Uh, there's all these things that can contribute towards the not feeling good enough, and it's basically also I've done a lot of research to childhood conditioning. So what is it caused by? And it's basically um, neglect, or a very strict, authoritative upbringing. Um, um, overly emotional parents that basically their emotions were the most important, and your emotions were wiped out because there was no space for them. um there's all these different things that have contributed to these not good enough feelings. So I want you to really think back to your upbringing. How was it? What was it like? What situations happen there often or regularly or on repeat that still now make you act in a certain way because you don't feel good enough. And by acknowledging and understanding your past, it will enable you to go on a discovery journey, and create self-compassion and understanding towards yourself. And that will lay the foundation for a more empowered and resilient present and future. So by understanding what's the cause of these unworthy feelings, you can basically move on to the next step, which is, what is it that I believe about myself? What do you believe about yourself? Do you believe that you are an amazing person? Do you believe that you are able, that you are empathetic, that you are good enough? Do you believe that you are able to do it all? Do you believe that what you do is good and what you do is perfect? And I think I know the answer to that one, because you would not be here if that would be the case. So my first question, or the explanation behind this, would be is that everything that you believe about yourself will shape what you think, how you behave, and what you choose. So if you understand what you believe about yourself, you can also identify the challenges, you can identify the limiting thoughts, you can identify what these limiting beliefs cause and how they make you behave. Because if you think that you can't do something, your mind will try and prove that you can't do it. If you think that you can do something, you will challenge yourself and try and do it. So it's all these underlying, beliefs that you've got about yourself that are molding the future, that are molding the way that you interact with everything around you. So if you understand what you believe about yourself, if you really honestly, dead honest, look at what self-beliefs you've got, and maybe you can even explain now where they come from, because it's very much possible that they come from the upbringing or come from certain traumatic events, or very much interactions with authority figures. There's so many assets that could have caused all these things. And by then realizing how you think and how your thought process works, you can actually challenge them, and you can kind of try and think for how are these based on the truth, or how are these based on limiting beliefs that are holding me back. So if we look at the first question, is that what do you believe about yourself as a person in the different roles that you occupy, that you have? So what do you believe about yourself as a mom? What do you believe about yourself as a partner or wife? Or what do you believe about yourself as a daughter? What do you believe about yourself as a sibling, as a sister? What do you believe about yourself as a granddaughter? What do you believe about yourself as an employee or an employer? You could be a boss, you could be a company owner. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about you being a friend to other people? What do you believe about yourself? So what kind of traits have you got? Are you compassionate? Are you friendly? Are you nice? Or are you thinking that you might not be deserving of something good because you're not good enough? It's all these little things, if you really would hone into them, to see where they come from. So what kind of beliefs have you got about yourself? What do you believe about what do you believe that you have to do in life? What do you believe that you have to live by? What are the life rules, the work rules, the family rules, the friend rules? What are they? So if you are that person and you've got these certain expectations, these certain things that you have to do because they're rules or they are expected of you, how do you see yourself, or what do you believe about yourself when you do not follow the rules? Are you authentic and daring and challenging and secure about yourself? Do you feel like that? Or if you don't follow the rules, do you feel like you're doing it wrong? Do you feel like you don't deserve what you're getting? Do you feel like you're a bad person? Do you feel like you're not good enough? It's all these things that I would like you to have a think about. So what are the life rules that you've been brought up with? And that might still be there today. For me, it is about the relationship with my parents. They've got a lot of expectations. And the life rule that I've been brought up with is that I have to live up to their expectations. I have to live and I have to hold myself accountable that I live by their rules, that I do what they expect of me. I felt whenever I decided not to follow the rules and choose me instead of doing what they wanted me to do, it made me feel like I was doing it wrong. It made me feel like I was guilty of deliberately not following the rules. It made me feel like I was unworthy. So how does that go for work? In work relationships, if you don't follow the rules at work, how do you feel about that if you do not follow the herd? Basically do your own thing. People have opinions. What does that do with you? Does that make you believe that you are not good enough? Does that make you believe that you're doing it wrong, that you are a failure? What does that make you believe? Now, if we would translate these beliefs into limiting beliefs, you basically look at examples like, I am ... enough. So I'm not big enough. I'm not popular enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not old enough. I'm not nice enough. I'm not enough. You can fill it out. You can fill it in the way you feel that what you say to yourself, what you believe, what pops up in your head. If you would think of that sentence, I'm not enough, what would pop up in your head? Write that down for me. Now, the next one is, I'll never be. Think about that sentence. If you would say that about yourself, what pops up in your head? Is it, I'll never be as good as my sister. I'll never live up to their expectations. I'll never be able to do that. I'll never be seen as kind. I'm never going to have nice friends or sustainable friends because I don't deserve them. I'll never be enough. Is this what you think about yourself? Jot them down. I'm really, really curious, and let me know what you've come up with. Now, the next one is, I don't have enough something. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough, name it. I don't have enough money. What do you believe about yourself? I don't have enough willpower. I don't have enough boundaries. I don't have enough voice to actually say what I want. I don't have enough love. I don't have enough kindness. I don't have enough time. All these things are things that you believe. What pops up in your head, write it down. Now, the last one, and there are so many other examples that we will not go into today because it's just endless. But another one is I'm not. I'm not good. I'm not able. I'm not enough. I'm not doing it well. I'm not what they expect. Can you see what this habitual thinking, habitual belief system is making you feel like? Can you kind of, do you realize what this habitual thinking and the beliefs that you've got about yourself, what they make you feel like? Are they positive? If not, I'm going to go to the next page because I think it's good to have a look at the beliefs that you've got about yourself. How much are they based on reality? How much are they based on reality? I'm honestly, I'm really, really curious because I would like, in both my personal and professional experiences, I, over the years, have come to realize that the beliefs about myself are often a reflection of negative self-perception. So the beliefs I've got about me come from negative thinking patterns, negative things I think about myself that I've been conditioned with. So, in other words, they aren't based on the truth, but more on interpretations, on the past conditioning that you've been, you know, brought up with, and assumptions that are just downright untrue. So, the beliefs that you've got are holding you back from developing a positive self-image, and they're holding you back from acknowledging your self-worth. So, because the conditioning that's going on in your head, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve that. Like I just did. Those beliefs are holding you back. Simple. They are stopping you, protecting you. They're stopping you from moving on. And it's not your fault. I want you to know, I want you to realize that feeling like that is absolutely not your fault. It's not. It's the way that the mind works. It's basically the way that we've been conditioned to think. We've been conditioned to always having to do it better. Because we've been conditioned that the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. But is it? Is it really? Now, if we would challenge each of our beliefs with reflections that we can do, we've got 3 different ones in the guide. It can. The first one is that you can basically reflect this belief on if it's based on concrete evidence, or if it's based on assumptions or past experiences that may no longer be relevant at all. So I want you to reflect if these beliefs that you've got about yourself are actually based on evidence of today. Like you can put evidence next to it from today, the way you are now, or if they go back to the past and certain situations and experiences have basically conditioned you to think like that, to make sense of something, or make sense of something that happened in the past, or that kept on happening in the past, or the interactions that were going in the past. I've always, if I look back at my own situation, I've always felt like the odd one out, purely because I didn't share the same humor. I didn't share the same interests. I was the odd one out. I felt the odd one out. Though that conditioned me because I was not acknowledged either. My interests were not acknowledged. My humor wasn't acknowledged because they didn't understand my humor. I was conditioned that I wasn't good enough because I didn't fit in. Now, if we reflect that belief on concrete evidence or an actual past experience of, I don't fit in, I would say now, okay, is that still based on reality or still relevant? No, I don't think so. Yet I still feel like that because it's so ingrained in me. So what I would like you to do is basically think about how it would be concrete. So how is it based on evidence that you've got today that you don't fit in? Or is it the experience that you've got and the conditions in your head, or the conditioning that you're doing in your head that was relevant in the past because I didn't fit into my family in the past because I didn't share what they shared together? Or is it now that you've can come to realize that you are unique, you are actually an amazing human being with your own traits, with your own special things, with your own interests, with your own humor, and that's okay? Do you see where I'm coming from? Do you see what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to shed some different light on where certain feelings and thoughts and limiting beliefs come from to show you that it might not be fitting in today's life anymore, and it might be outdated, basically. So if you've done that, like take this example of me. I now realize that these conditions that I've put in my head, that I don't fit in, or that I'm weird. I think that's the better description. I always felt weird. I always felt the odd one out. I'm wondering, or I could wonder now, if I would do this, is that based on reality? Is that based on concrete evidence that I'm weird? Or am I actually the unique person that I am today, with my own humor, with my own traits, with my own, possibilities and power? Can I see it in a different way? Now, if we look further, if I would still have that belief that I'm the odd one out, or that I'm the weird one, which could be really, really hindering, because it will stop you from anything in your life. It will stop you in relationships, it will stop you in friendships, it will stop you in being a mom, it will stop you in standing up for your kids. Because if you feel that you're acting out of proportion, or it's weird what you're saying, or go on, it stops you because you do not want to feel like that. So you basically hide your own personality, you hide your own identity. You live up to expectations and you try to figure out a way of being able to follow the rules so that you could feel somehow part of it. Now, if we look at this belief of I need to be part of the herd, or I need to be liked, or I need to be, you know, acknowledged and listened to, this belief, does it serve you? So I'm weird, the belief that I'm weird because I never fit in. Does that belief serve me now? Or does it actually hinder my personal and professional growth as a working mum or a working woman? Does it help me that I think like that about myself, or is it stopping me? And that's basically what I would like you to think about. Now, if you go a step further than that, think about a belief that you've got. How can you prove what's concrete proof that this belief is shite? Sorry, I like to swear. I'm a flop out. I apologize, but that's me. So you either like me or not. Is there any proof that says that what you think about yourself is just rubbish? What have you achieved? Thinking about me is that what I've achieved is that I've got this, I moved, if I look at my situation, I moved to the UK 7.5 years ago. And yes, I'm building up my life here in the UK and I'm starting new friendships and I'm starting a new life in work and I'm starting, or I've started, a business, things like that. I'm going my own way. But if I look at the life that I built up in the Netherlands, where I'm originally from, still at this time, I can proudly and honestly say that I've got this amazing, amazing, group of friends. Very, very, very proud of, because they, even if I say the night before and that I'm coming over, they will drop every single thing that they have planned for the day after to be able to meet me or to be able to see me, and vice versa. They still come and visit me in the UK regularly. I am really, really lucky, but that's evidence. That's evidence, and that's proof that I'm not weird. That should show me that I'm actually a very unique, a unique person with a very unique personality. And it's okay if people don't get it. It's okay if it doesn't fit. Yes, it has conditioned me in the past, and I have, I felt weird or out of place or not part of the gang or part of the family before. But now I'm able, and I've enabled myself, but I've also taken the opportunity to find my people, to, you know, develop these long-lasting friendships and relationships that are absolutely worth the world. So what have I achieved? I have an amazing group of friends that still to this day, 7.5 years later, after I moved from the Netherlands, are, and I'm lucky that I can still call them my friends. They are there. Even though I live abroad, even though I don't live near anymore, they're still there. Now, that's my sentimental of this today. There you go. You got it. Now, if you look at other limiting beliefs that you've got about yourself, so I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, I'm not good at studying, I'm not good at learning new things. Prove yourself. Think about what could prove that those limiting beliefs are absolute rubbish. Like, what are you good at? What do you like doing and what are you really, really good at? I know it's conditioned in you not to think about what you're good at and what your traits are and what your positive traits are. I know that you've not been conditioned to look at yourself like that, but I'm challenging you to give it a go. Give it a go and let me know what you come up with because you are amazing. And there is loads there that makes you special. So what are you good at that could prove that these limiting beliefs just need shuffling out because they are not relevant anymore. They're no longer relevant. They are not based on the truth any more than what you make it. Now, go another one further. What do other people acknowledge you for? So if you have the guts, if you have the courage to basically ask around people that you know that are dear to you, how they perceive you, how they see you, it will amaze you what they would say about you. It will amaze you. If they don't, fuck them. You know, they're not worth it. If they can only be negative, absolutely do not. Okay, do not ask them. And I'm not saying this so you can basically just get all the positives out of it and ignore the negative. It's not why I'm saying this. But the negative people are dragging you down, and they are absolutely not helpful for you to grow further in life. So, if you would ask people that are appreciating of you, that appreciate you for who you are, and that love you for who you are, if you would ask them how they would describe you or what they would acknowledge you for, what would they say? Now, I'm looking at the time and I can go on about I can go on about this for hours and things. What I need to say to you is being perfect is a misconception because I've said this before and I'll say it again. Being perfect is doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. My perfect, which doesn't exist anymore either because I'm, whatever. My perfect is never going to be your perfect. Your perfect is never going to be my perfect. So the perfect scale that you're handling things on, that you are acting upon, is absolutely not my perfect scale. So if we would look at the bad truth about this all is that you are making your life a living hell really hard by finding and by making yourself and by expecting of yourself that you do everything perfect. Because I want you to question, I want you to challenge yourself and ask yourself, what is perfect anyway? My perfect will not be someone else's perfect. So I'm saying this so I could make you realize or make you think about that you're making it really, really hard for yourself by expecting perfect. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And it doesn't matter what other people find or think or have an opinion about. That's got to do with you. It doesn't matter. Because in the end, it's your life. And the only thing that you can do is be kind and fair towards yourself, not undervalue yourself, and appreciate you for who you are and what you stand for. Because you are amazing the way you are. You are absolutely amazing the way you are. And fuck them. I know I'm not supposed to say that word, but F them, seriously. Do not engage with these people that have a negative impact on your well-being. You deserve better. You are so deserving of so much better. And whenever you have a feeling that it isn't good enough or that you're not good enough, I want you to remember that you are amazing just the way you are. And you are good enough in what you do and what you think and what you say. You are good enough. And you deserve the kindness and forgiveness that you give other people. You deserve that too. So I want you to challenge yourself whenever you're unkind or unforgiving towards yourself, you feel guilty, or you find that you've done something really wrong. I'm challenging you to be as kind and as forgiving towards yourself as you would be with other people when they've done something. Because you deserve all that you desire. And that is because you are so much more than good enough. You are. And I'm going to end this training with the last thing that I want to say to you, and it's in the guide. So if you need to read it over and over again to kind of make a process or fall or whatever, in the end, it all comes down to this. The only thing that you can do for you is being your authentic you. The only thing that you can do is you. Now, I hope that this training has been helpful for you. I'm going to stop sharing. There we are. I hope that this training has given you a little bit more clearance and clarity about the not good enough feelings. And I hope that I've been able to show you what I stand for and what I find important, and that I root for you. I'm rooting for you. I'm wanting you to succeed in your life for you. Because nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. It's what you want that matters. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It's your life. You've only got one. And I say live it. You need to live it for you. And I hope that this has helped you today. I hope that I can do this again in the future, and that people will come in with me, and that I can challenge people, and that I can interact with people, because that's what I live for. And that's absolutely what I hope to give back to you as well. Again, if I can help you with anything else, please let me know. I have in several posts, I have all the contact details, the emails that go out have all my contact details in there. Please let me know if I can help you with anything, and I hope to speak to you soon.